made us understand that failure was just part of the path. It was, you can't win unless you fail multiple times.
So my guest today is Ivelisse Rodriguez Simon. She is the managing partner of Avante Capital Partners, which is based in LA. Avante is a women and minority-owned private credit and structured equity fund. The purpose of my content is really to humanize our market so that we can form meaningful relationships that are based on authenticity and trust. We are going to focus on the who, the what, but what I really care about is the why of people's stories. So I'd love to maybe rewind a little bit, Ivelisse, and go back to your upbringing, because you and your sisters and your family have just this insane story of overcoming obstacles and just rising and just succeeding and just pushing through. So I love to maybe rewind. What was it like growing up? Where did you grow up? What's the story?
Great. Thank you, Jordan. Well, I grew up in the south side of Chicago in a low-income neighborhood called Pilsen. It was my parents who were very young when they had me, and my two younger sisters, Rebecca, who's 5 years younger, and Gina, who's 10 years younger. And, it was an unusual upbringing. As I said, we lived in a challenging neighborhood, so a lot of gang violence, a lot of poverty, not good access to education, not good access to capital, and a lot of sense of hopelessness, right? Not a lot of opportunities. It was different within my own house, where my parents set out to just create an environment that gave us hope, that said, that made us believe that even though we were these three, little Puerto Rican girls living in a bad neighborhood, that we can grow up to do anything, to be anybody. And through education and through hard work, we could get there.
How did you get through this prolonged crisis almost in living in such a difficult situation for an extended amount of time? And I think it's relevant because right now we're going through something very similar across the nation, across the world, and getting through this economic and health crisis. Like, how did your family get through this? Just what was the mentality?
It's a good question. I mean, we had incredible joy and incredible hope within our household. We're just a very happy family, and we were very grateful. Even for the little that we had, we were very grateful and always felt very blessed, and always felt that every achievement any one of us had was an achievement of our family. And we did it together. The first thing we set out to do was just make sure we all had really strong educations. And my parents made sure of that. They worked 2 jobs and they sacrificed and they made sure we had excellent education. And then after that, it was just brute hard work and persistence and overcoming obstacles and being in industries. All three of my, both of my sisters and I are in industries that are not very diverse, right? Continuing forward, persisting.
So your youngest sister is a accomplished actress. Your middle sister is a physician, and you are managing a fund. So to say that you have succeeded as a family might be an understatement. But was there a moment when just your parents said, enough, like we have to change things? Or was it just you always grew up and always knew this type of mentality in the household about you having to find joy, you having to have hope? What was it like?
Ever since I can remember, from really my very earliest memories, my father would wake us all up in the morning bright and early, and we'd have to do 20 jumping jacks, and we'd have to look in a mirror and tell ourselves, today is going to be a great day. I can and I will. Every morning of my entire life. And so it wasn't one moment or one thing that we did. It was really a mentality and a culture in my household of persisting and of being strong and of making sure that if we were able to accomplish something, that we helped others accomplish something. My father would always say, the more people you help get what they want, you'll get what you need. Right? So our entire mentality in our household was, okay, we're in a challenged environment, but we can do it. And you know what? Once we do it, we can help others do it. And it's really one of the things that has led me to my career and why I love what I do. I love Avante. I really am proud to be part of the SBIC program and the SBA. We help create jobs across the country. We help to create wealth within communities that are underserved. And it is such a passion for me because I know that there's tons of talent all throughout our country. Within women, within minority communities, there's tons of talent. You have to give people opportunities, right? Access to education and access to good jobs. And so it's just a passion of mine.
Sorry, I'm getting the handoff.
That's a beautiful baby, by the way.
His name is Hunter, 5 months old. When did you start to develop the mentality of just the hardened mentality of nobody can penetrate this? Like, how did you get through high school, through middle school? Was it really formed at the beginning of high school? And you're like, I don't care what people say, whatever, like, you're not getting in here because I got my family. And I've had this drilled into me since I was 5 years old. My dad waking me up every single morning.
Jordan, I love that question. I love that question because it's never stopped being a challenge, right? It's not like now that I'm 44 years old and a managing partner, it's now easy. It's never stopped being a challenge. People have never stopped saying you can't and you shouldn't and you won't be able to. And so I think that's a great question because you have to be really tough and you have to just persevere and believe in yourself despite failures that always happen. They continue to happen, right? We continue to stumble. I give that credit completely to my parents. They really made us believe that we can do it. And by the time I was 12, nobody could tell me otherwise.
And do you think that you just had like the emotional toolkit as you matured that you could just handle the negativity in just a different way and almost in passing and more of an objective sense?
Well, it's almost like, my parents made us understand that failure was just part of the path. It was, you can't win unless you fail multiple times. You can't get to your goal unless you get pushed down and you stand back up. It was natural, right? Obstacles would come and it was naturally what was going to happen. And it was time to fight and it was time to just get over that obstacle, not let it get you down. Jordan, I wish that I could give that to every single girl out there. I wish I could just hand that to them and say, you can do anything. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise, and don't let any failures get in your way. I think that's just something I would love to just hand over to every single little girl in this country.
I really appreciate that perspective of the negativity is never going to stop coming, but it's how if you have the mental fortress that your family built up and that you're able to deal with it better. How did your parents stay together in such a difficult time? I think every marriage is tested in times of crisis. Like, was it just this environment and the family unit's going to stick together no matter what? And here's our mentality and this is our motto. Like, how did you guys make it through?
Yeah, I mean, my parents are tremendous, and my mother, as I mentioned, was really young when she had me and got together with my father, and they've been together, 45 years, and they're still great partners. My dad, the other day, I said to him, Dad, I'm so happy. We feel so blessed that you're in a house during this crisis, that you have space, that you have room to be in the back, that you have a safe environment. And he goes, you know what I'm grateful for? I'm grateful that I have my partner here next to me. And I just love that because that's exactly what they are. They're partners. They have each other. They always have, right, from the very beginning. And I looked for that when I was looking for a partner. And I'm grateful to have a partner just like that. That's my peer, right?
Are you talking about your husband?
My husband.
Oh.
My husband. I also have great partners at my firm. I have great partners at my firm that have also really been like that to me, that have stood by me, that have been.
Isn't it crazy how the meaning and understanding of a partner evolves through crisis? So my wife and I met on Match.com. We didn't really like each other that much in the beginning, but then as we started to go through difficult times together, before marriage, after marriage, job loss, death, or whatever, you started to realize oh my God, that's why I love this person.
They're a true partner. And you make some beautiful babies with that woman.
Going to 2009, when Avante was getting off the ground, can you walk us through that very interesting, trying time and what it took to get the business off the ground?
It took more persistence than I think Jerry and I thought we had, and more strength and more courage, right? We started 2009, and it took us about 20 months to raise our fund. And we were told no, far, far more than we were told yes. I had my twins at the same time. I was bed rested. So for 5 months, Jerry was literally at my bedside, and we were raising money. And it made us a stronger team. I mean, I love Jerry and Paul and Cliff, my partners, because they have been with me and have helped me through being a mother and trying to balance being a mother and having a private equity career. And they've been so supportive. And they've proven to me, and I think they've proven to the industry, that it works. You can be a working mother and be a good mother and still have a great career.
Wait, how did you get through those 5 months in raising? What was going on in your mind as you were getting through this? Like, how did you manage that as a family and with your partners?
I think we felt like we had no choice. We had committed to this. We were going to do it, and we were going to make it happen no matter what. And like I said, Jerry literally would come to my bedside because I was bed rested with the twins. And we would make our calls, and we would continue. And we joke, Jerry and I joke, we're raising our third fund right now in the middle of another crisis. We're going to keep on moving forward. We're going to raise it, and we're going to invest it, and we're going to continue to do well by the SBA and by our investors and by our team.
Over here, there's our whiteboard, and it says, "Today's a great day, I can and I will." And for the past 60 days, every single day, my kid actually just stands up on the couch, and I get her to, like those little monsters on the wall, I get her to put her hands up and jump up and down, and she screams
That's
it.
awesome, Jordan. That's awesome. I love that. That's great. That's great. I do that with my own children.
And it's funny because it was about 3 weeks into it when I said something like I can't do that. And then my daughter said, "You can and you will."
So I like your daughter. I like your daughter.
Well, Ivelisse, this has been awesome. I think this should be like episode 1. There's so much more in your life that we can dive into, but I appreciate your time with it.
I appreciate your time, Jordan. Thank you. I appreciate this, and give that baby a hug from me.
I will. See you, Hunter. Okay.